Mayan Buntag, and welcome to episode 100. Let me get this all situated here. 100, the big 100 of my Filipino venture. So yeah, it's a couple landmarks. This is our 100th video, and I think we're at 1,500 subscribers. So go team. So as promised, today we are going to do a visa update. So if you remember, before I took off for a couple weeks, I think my last update was we were approved. Something happened. What was it? I can't remember. Oh, we got our okay that they sent our packet to the NVC. So real quick, I'm just going to back up a little bit and do a really quick update of the process so far. And if you've been through this, you already know. And if you watch all the videos, I'm sorry to repeat myself, but these are for anybody who's just starting watching now. So for the K1 visa, I used a company called Rapid Visa, and that's going to come into play. I wanted to bring up the Rapid Visa thing because what they'll do is they give you like these work pages. It's different from if you just get the packet yourself and fill it out. They actually give you like these like worksheets that you do first, and then you use that to fill out the application things. And it's good because they keep that on file, and it's always there for you, and they send those answers to you later for the different packets that you're going to need. So that's one thing I did like about the Rapid Visa. So in the first round, it's the I-129F, which is your application for a K1. Now, it's not an application for the K1 visa. It's an application to apply. It's kind of crazy. So we went through all that, and I answered all these questions. Now, they ask you at one point your employment and where you've lived. Now, in the worksheet, not so much the questions on the I-29F, but on the worksheets, they want to know where Yna had worked and lived since she was 16 years old. So and she had worked in a few countries. Malaysia and Singapore and some other stuff. She was a domestic helper, as a lot of Filipinos are. And she didn't keep any good records. She never thought they would ever come into play. So when you're filling out the application, it'll be like page of this page of the page, or the workshops, the questionnaires. And you can like save and continue and go back to it. So we bypassed that a couple times until she could try to get the information up. She couldn't remember all the addresses of the places and the people that she worked for and the phone numbers and all that stuff that they wanted to know. So we'd go through there and say, well, save and continue. We'll get back to that section. Well, when it got down to the end, after a couple months of actually putting this packet together, which is quite a bit of work, I sent it off. Well, this is going to come back to bite me in the ass, and this is my fault, is that I don't think I ever went back and finished that section about where she lived. So, but it went off to the immigration service. 5 months, they did the background checks, everything, they approved it. And then we've got our approval letter after about 5 months, and which means that we're approved to apply for a K1 visa. And I think that was video life-changing news, super special life-changing news video. So we're all happy. And then we had to wait about a month later, then we got a message saying, okay, so we've got your packet together. We sent it to the embassy, the VNC, the National Visa Center, and here's your new case number. So that was my last video, and we're very excited about that. Yay, we're almost there, we're almost there. So next I went to Rapid Visa and they said, this is what's going to happen next. They give you this whole checklist. And actually one of my subscribers, thank you, he sent me pretty much the same thing that I got from Rapid Visa to help me out to work through it. So the next stage was to fill out what's called a DS-160, which is kind of like the same exact thing that the I-129F was, but instead of going to immigration, this is going to the embassy. So where is it at? That's what, like I said about Rapid Visa, what I like is they say here, download and print this. This is all the answers to the questions that you're going to be asked, because we did all the worksheets. And so it'll say, you know, question 1. This is your answer. This is what they're going to answer you. So it's an online form. You don't have to mail it in. It's all done online. So I was going through my worksheet, answering each question on the DS-160 until we got to, has she ever lived outside the United States or the Philippines since in the last 5 years? And on there, it said no. And I'm thinking, no, she worked in Singapore in 2014 to 2016. So I emailed Rapid Visa, and I said, hey, you have it, no, but no, she did work out there. And she says, well, in our records, we didn't have any of that on our records because I didn't freaking, I messed up. So is this going to be a problem? She says, well, put it in there what it is, and then you're going to need to get a police clearance for it when you go to the embassy. So on the DS-160, I put in where she worked. I did get the information, Yna, of the name and the address of the lady that she worked for in Singapore and the dates. So I did that, and I sent that off the DS-160 form electronically. And then they say they give you something like this to print off. And it's got her picture and everything. And they say, do not lose this. She can't even go into the embassy interview without this sheet, saying that she's finished that. So here's our problem. A clearance, police clearance. Now she's got to go to Singapore. She doesn't have to go to Singapore. She has to get a police clearance from Singapore. No, it shouldn't be a problem. She didn't commit any crimes when she was there. She also has to get a police clearance from the Philippines, which is easy enough to do. She can do that in person. So I go online, I search how to get a police clearance from Singapore, and it's only done online now with Singapore. So you have to fill out all this stuff, the Sing Pass, and they want a copy of your hard copy sent, I think, from the police station of your fingerprint, passports, a visa, which she doesn't have to pay for it, and she needs this FIN number, or it's called a FIN number, which is the number that she got when she went to the Philippines. Hope this is not getting too confusing. It was very, very confusing for us when we first started going through all this. It's a pain in the keister. So to go work in another country, you're going to need a visa, like a work permit. But I think when they do these domestic helper ones, these agencies, they do so many, you get these work passes or work permits, and the agency deals with it. Yna really never ever had to do anything. The agency fill out all the forms, agency got the FIN number. Yna claims that she really never even got a copy of the FIN number, FIN number. The agency kept that, so she couldn't get a hold of the agency. You can't call the Singapore. This has been going on for like a week, at least a week, and it's caused quite a lot of problems between us because she feels like I can't help at this point. This is all on her. I can't call and on her behalf. They won't allow that. It's got to be her, and she's got to have. So it's the ball's on her court right now. She's got to do it all, and she's not very good at this stuff at all. Not to mention, she doesn't even have a laptop. She does everything on a phone. She does have a laptop, but I'm not sure she's really good at using it. So this has just been a nightmare. And at one point I said, well, listen, if we can't get this visa, what's that? That's going to be the end of us, because we can't do this for 8 years, just texting every day and then me coming over to visit once in a while. We have to get this visa. So it was looking kind of grim. It was looking like we hit a brick wall. She couldn't get, and then I did some research on other people trying to get a Singapore police clearance, and they all said the same thing. It's a royal pain in the ass. It's a stupid system, it's a flawed system, and it's just a real headache to do this. So finally, yesterday morning, she's been begging her employer to see if she could find anything on her records. And this lady said no, she couldn't, but Yna was begging her. So this nice lady in Singapore actually contacted the Ministry of Magic, the MOM, I call it the Ministry of Magic. It's the Ministry of Manpower in Singapore, and she got a termination sheet saying that Yna had stopped working for her. And on that termination sheet was Yna's FIN number. Finally. So, if you can follow all this, if you haven't turned off the video yet, I wouldn't blame you if you did because it's so confusing. So now we've got this FIN number. Now tomorrow, Monday, which is for her about 6, 7 o'clock tonight, she'll be able to go onto the website, put her passport number and the FIN number in, and apply for the police clearance, which I heard takes 7 to 10 days. Now, she's not done that. She still has to go get her go to a local police department, get her fingerprint ID, had that sent over to Singapore. And then I've got to use my visa to pay for this process. Then they review it, and then I guess, I don't know. Oh God, this is such a nightmare. So we'll see how that goes. The good news is I think we've got everything we need. Now, to make matters, even worse, well, what I had already discussed. So now if she goes to the interview and they'll say, well, what about before Singapore? Did you ever work out of the country? And if she has to say, yeah, I was in Malaysia and I worked, and I was in Hong Kong and I worked, they're going to say, well, you're going to need police clearances for all these places. My head's going to explode because it was this hard just to get that FIN number from Singapore. Imagine how hard it's going to be to go back even farther when she doesn't have any records of any of this stuff. It's going to be a nightmare. So I'm just, please, just do the last 5 years. If the embassy only asks for the last 5 years, then we're in the clear. If they're going to go back farther, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. Now, after that's done, I checked, and the embassy interview dates are not backed up. I thought they'd be backed up for months. We'd have to put in for, but they're only a couple weeks. When I checked, they said the first interview date's March 27th, which is next week. I didn't ask for an actual date yet because we're not right at that point. But once this is all done, we can get the interview pretty quick. And then she'll have to schedule the medical exam. Medical exam takes a couple days, and then like a week later or whatever, she can go to the interview. And just when you think it's all done, in the Philippines, you're not done yet. Then you have to go with what's called a CFO class, which is only for the Philippines. And it's like an exit debriefing or something. You have to go there. If you're marrying a foreigner and leaving the country, you have to go take this class. And that stamp has to be on your visa before they let you leave. And those are backed up, I think, for a couple months, those classes. So, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So let's just get the police clearance. The police clearance is our next hurdle. And after that, it's the embassy. So that is my update. It is just a royal pain in the ass. And if you're anything like me, I just hate this type of detail-oriented paperwork. A lot of it just seems unnecessary, and it's a real pain in the ass. And then I have to mail her a bunch of these original documents, an affidavit of support. I have to show that tax returns for the last 3 years to show that I make enough money to support her, which I think the minimum is around $20,000 for anybody who's thinking about it. You gotta have to make at least $20,000 or so to get, sorry, my nose is itchy. It's my divorce records, and just a birth certificate, everything. I'm going to mail this to her so she has that for the embassy. So anyway, I think I bored you enough. That is the visa update for those who are interested. Shoot me now. Just shoot me right in the head. Get this over with because I hate this. But it's all going to be worth it in the end. So, you know the drill. Here's the subscribe, and here's a couple of videos you might want to look into. I thank you for your kind words from my last video, and we love you. Stay cool.